Hello, this is Triflic, and this is
Trntbl,
and we are Escape Shifters. We're going to play some Magic for you guys today. I have a Merfolk deck. It's pretty standard. I've edited it up a little bit to help with the new Eldrazi decks that have been coming out, but this is actually pretty untested as of now.
and I'm running the ever-popular Mardu Burn. Bet you've heard of that one. No, you haven't. It's kind of like your standard burn deck, except we're adding black for bumping the knights and, believe it or not, Bob. So I've liked Bob so far. I went 6-3 at the regional last week, and I'm pretty pleased with that. So we'll see how it works. Maybe Bob stays, maybe Bob goes, but I'm really a big fan of Bump. Bump has been a really great addition. This is going to be a terrible matchup. This is be forewarned. If you're a burn deck player and you're watching this deck's really not this bad.
So the best part, so like you can tell how good a burn deck player is as to whether or not they think Merfolk is a good matchup. If they go, "Oh, Merfolk, this is a good matchup," you're gonna beat them. You're gonna beat them if they say that.
It's a bad matchup, and you should be sad. You should be sad. You see fish, just go and be sad. I guess we're gonna do a cut thing.
Yeah,
cut thing. Be formal and such. Bad juju cut. See you.
Oh, we need to roll for play.
Dice.
Dice. Okay. Just do a standard high roll. Or some D6s here. 8. 4.
Not 8.
I'll take the play.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll keep.
I will not keep. Here is a good example of a non-keepable hand of Merfolk. So lots of good things in it. It only has one land. And as I learned from playing the regional last weekend, do not keep this hand or you will lose, because fuck you.
I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, you lose.
Even if there's an 8th value, you lose.
Yeah, like the only time you can keep a one-land hand is if you're like mulling to 5, because it's better than mulling to 4.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that happened to me twice at the regional. I got to stuck on one land for like 5 turns. It was no fun.
That's part of a burn deck. You can keep one land hand. 9 times out of 10.
Oh no. Cards are going everywhere.
Garbage. Not happy.
Yeah, I'll keep this. Show you guys there. It's got stuff to do, lands to play the stuff. It's pretty good. I'll keep.
Cool. I'll keep this hand. It's not a particularly great hand. Well, if I can get it to the camera. We got 2 of those. We don't want 2 of those, but that's okay. The rest of it's pretty good. We got the land to do it. We'll be alright.
So as far as first land, you want to play on Merfolk? I think it depends. Game 1, I think it's always fine to lead off with an island. And go from there and pick Curse Catcher.
Dude, gross.
No, that's turn.
As a burn player, Curse Catcher's gross. You already knew that. Alright, since we're playing 3-color burn here, we're never going to just not fetch for color. Unless we have more than the lands we need, which is not going to happen very often, because if you're running burn, you don't have more than the lands you need, because if you do, you've lost. So in this case, we're just going to fetch up a Sacred Foundry, and that's going to get us at least the first color in our 3-color burn, and hopefully we'll be able to get the next here next turn or so. And every burn player in the world will be surprised by this beautiful turn 1 Goblin guide. Push 2.
Yeah, okay. Trigger, spreading seed on top, take 2.
On you. I'm at 17 also, so that shock.
So yeah, then we'll do a Wanderline Hub and I'll do a Merrow Reejerey. So like whether I look like Wanderline Hub on turn 1 is like really up to debate. So like, if you think your opponent's gonna be playing like Choke, Boil, or even like a Merfolk Mirror, then you want to lead with the One Red Hub. Although sometimes you can give them less information if you lead with Island. But from there, I'm just gonna go into a Spreading Seas on your Sacred Foundry.
Wow, you suck a dick.
And I'll swing one.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay.
Set it to the side. Untap, upkeep, draw. My deck is upside down. That's unfortunate. Okay. All right. For us, that was actually a really solid draw. I'm gonna play one of those. I'll take 2. Go to 14. I've lost the 14. There it is. Go to 14. Be salty. Play another guide.
Yeah.
Whack whack.
First catcher. No card advantage from the guide.
And pass to you. The only advantage of Spreading Seas, it is a wonderful non-bow with Curse Catcher. So I literally have mana that is useful for only one thing, and that is countering Curse Catcher.
Ghost Quarter.
Ew.
This is a new edition main deck, mostly because of the new Eldrazi decks, and Tron getting a little more prevalent. Because I expect the Eldrazi deck to be banned pretty soon.
Yeah, no, Eldrazi's got to go. When we have a 95% win rating in Pro Tour against non-mirror matches, that's not okay. You can suck a giant dick! Well, dear Burn players, we are now in a predicament. We have lots of blue things, and that's a problem, because you've seen this hand, and you know this hand is bad. One. Yeah, I'll take one.
And then I'll play another Curse Catcher.
Yeah, you suck a dick.
Good.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Okay, alright. Deck has been kind to us, gives us the things we need. I'll go ahead and lose 2 out, go to 10. I'm basically going to kill myself this game. This is what happens. Need one of these. One of those. The other problem with this deck, there are only 2 of each Shockland, so if he decides to somehow pull out the next 2 Spreading Seas in his deck, we are in some pretty not good trouble, as in we lose. We pick up the deck and leave and be sad. There we go, there's one of those. Alright, so this is a funny case because in this deck, there is a generally higher creature concentration than a normal burn deck, unless we're playing Naya Burn. So the funny thing here is, looking at this hand, we have really 2 options here. And I think we're going to go ahead with the Bob option, because that's just the most efficient play at this point. Since all of our lands have been destroyed, we need to start drawing cards, we need to start putting threats on the board. Swing 4.
Trigger. Master of Waves.
Ew.
I'll go to 10.
Ew. Dear Burn players, your other worst nightmare, Master of the Waves. And this is why Merfolk is a terrible matchup. He's got counter magic up perpetually, he's got an untouchable Master of the Waves, and he's destroying your lands game 1. Dear Burn players, if you thought this was a good matchup, you were wrong. Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and
Yep,
play that
yep,
Master of Waves.
those waves. I can hear them echoing.
Because the Spreading Seas, we get... Hi, guys.
And this is why Burn just loses.
We'll swing in for 2.
Yeah, and I'll take 2. Go to 8.
And pass to you.
Bob Trigger. Actually, untap. Upkeep Bob Trigger. Oh, that's what I wanted. I'll take 2. Go to 6. Draw Trigger. Cool. This looks absolutely horrible for us. They're at 10. They have lots of blockers out. This is highly unfortunate. If he hadn't dropped a Master, we might have could have pulled this out, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. We'll go ahead and crack that. Go to 5. Grab a mountain. At this point, I am literally just running through the motions for the sake of running through the motions to prove that this is really not terrible. It was actually sort of close. There's half of my panorama. Oh, don't even need to shuffle that. We'll tap 2. Double Lava Spike.
Yeah.
That's 6. He's got all the blockers out. Nothing we can do. We can't block at all. We're dead next turn on board. That's it. That's it. Double Bobs in hand.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there are exactly 3 Bobs in this deck. And Bob is a wonderful card against Merfolk, actually, I found. Because since Merfolk doesn't have a lot of interaction with it, you just kind of sit there and draw cards forever and be happy about it. Now, then again, that also depends on how you're going to play it, because I found that trying to deprive Merfolk to just destroy their creatures, burn their creatures for value is not such a great plan. They're gonna outvalue you. They're gonna play Silvergill, it's gonna suck up a bolt, and they're not gonna care.
Yeah, I ended up playing against a Naya Burn deck at regionals. It was the first deck I lost to. They were, I think we were both 2-0 at the time. So what happened was, he just raced me out, and I get, turn 4, have Master Waves out. A couple of times where I had 10 Master Wave tokens going, and he just double Lava Spikes me. There's nothing you can do about it, I just lose.
Yep, and I mean, we had the double Lava Spike there, but unfortunately I was a little short.
So, as far as sideboard tech, in Merfolk, this is the sideboard I run. 2 relics for any graveyard-based decks. Jund as well for Trntbl. 2 Ghost Quarters for Tron and dual Eldrazi decks, and any deck with man lands, really. It's good to bring those in. Dismember for removal. 3 Oracle's Recalls for Affinity, and apparently 8 Rack, because I learned that 8 Rack plays
Trash.
in Searing Blaze.
Trash.
And I did not know that, so I lost to it, because I had no answer to the main board.
Get ready to breed Rack.
Chalice of the Void. I didn't lose. I tied, because neither of us could kill the other, because I had a Chalice on 1 out. Which is why Chalice is good. Chalice shuts down so many decks in the meta right now. It shuts down Affinity, so it doesn't shut down Burn, but it hurts Burn.
Hurts a lot.
Only on the draw, though. It's only worth bringing in against Burn on the draw.
Yeah, because a lot of Burn decks are going to run something. They're going to run Destructive Revelry. In my case, I'm going to be running Rakdos Charm. They're running answers to that, because not only do you have to worry about Chalice, we also have to worry about Spellskite. And you got to have answers. You got to have those artifact destroying spells. So, I'll go ahead and get my set.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, you got more? Oh, please.
Yeah, but Chalice is great. It also helps against Infect, which is a terrible matchup, which I ended up playing, being able to beat it in the regional because of Chalice of the Void, because they literally just can't do anything about it.
That's a big reason why that Eldrazi deck right now is running the main board as a 4-up, because the only decks that can really race that Eldrazi deck are Infect, Burn, and the like, and the moment they drop it, Infect goes, okay, I lost.
Yeah, we got Tidebinder Mage for anything that plays green and red creatures, and even matchups like Tron, where we just want to have a high creature count to get in, versus a Grizzly Bear, but it gets big. Negate for anything that runs non-creature spells, and Dispel for anything that runs several instants. So yeah, against Burn, on the draw, I'm going to want to bring in the Tidebinder Mages, which is really great at getting rid of those creatures, good at shutting down Grim Lavamancer, and Goblin Guide, and Eidolon, not Eidolon, but Monastery Swiftspear. Then Negates for countering Burn spells, and Dispel for the same.
Seems good. Alright, so I have some spicy tech coming your way. A couple of Reality Hemorrhage, off of the Gatewatch. I really like this new card. Being able to get in for 2 damage for 2 sounds really terrible. However, the Devoid is what makes this card so good. Anything that has protection, those Kor Firewalkers that in the mirror, or anything that's running white, is a pain in the butt, as well as Master against Fish and the like. You need it. And the beauty, it goes face too, which is really powerful. So lots of versatility there. So that'll definitely be coming in because Master is Skirk. We got Rakdos Charm. This is kind of a cool one. The ability to exile and target player's graveyard is really good right now for snaps and Goyf and any deck with any graveyard interaction in general. The ability to actually deal 1 damage for each creature they control is really great. You have these zoo decks that'll just load the board up. They'll have 5-6 creatures. That's Boros Charm Plus in many cases, which does no damage to you in some cases. So that's really great. And then finally the Destroy Target Artifact that deals with the Spellskite, that deals with a Chalice on 1. It's just such a value card in terms of having options for different decks to play it against. Then we have the usual path. No surprise there. We have to be able to deal with things with protection. We also have to be able to deal with big scary things with above 3 toughness because, well, Burn can't deal with those normally. Kor Firewalkers, we need 3 of those because we're not great in the mirror because, well, running 3-color Burn deals a lot of damage to itself. And with these new mono-red Burn decks that don't deal quite as much damage, we just lose if we don't gain some life. So we got Kor Firewalker in there for the mirror. Then, some more spicy tech for you. Glare of Heresy. Yeah, I bet you're looking back going, what does that even do? That's the 2-drop sorcery from Theros. It says exile target white permanent. Why is that so good? Well, that gets rid of a lot of the big Planeswalker issues we have. So the new Ajani, the Ajani Vengeant, all those things, it gets rid of those, gets rid of Kor Firewalker. Sorens. And most importantly, it also deals with Leyline. Leyline running Boggles, the like, really sketchy weird side decks. That deals with it. And we have to have a way to deal with Leyline, or we could just lose.
And even kills the, what are they called? Like the intangible virtues in the token decks.
Exactly.
Those. Kills Siege Rhino.
Kills Siege Rhino.
Gets rid of voice. It's a really good
so
card.
Much value. It's so much value.
Gets rid of stuff.
Finally, we have Skullcracks, because gaining life against a burn deck is never a good idea. And Deflecting Palm, because Eldrazi's are scary, and Deflecting Palm is really good. In fact, this is one of those things where when you're sideboarding against Eldrazi, like, oh, oops, dropped it. Sorry. You didn't see that.
And then you just bluff it for the whole game.
Yes, literally bluff it perpetually because it's scary. So in this matchup, really, I generally bring in 2 Rakdos Charms, 2 Reality Hemorrhages, and 2 Paths. That's about all you need. That's about all I'm afraid of. This will deal with his Masters and other creatures in general, and this will deal with Chalice. And I didn't know this. If I didn't know this, a lot of Merfolk decks are also running Spellskite. So kind of side that in preemptively, assuming they'll have either Chalice or Spellskite, because generally Fish will be running at least one.
And it helps that you can end up dealing like 10 damage if someone drops a huge Mastered Waves.
Yes,
which is just ridiculous.
Yes, I have done before, and it's great. And so, of course, you guys can probably already expect what comes out for this. Eidolon is utter garbage against any deck with Vial. People are like, oh, but it's good because if they don't get a Vial, it's good. Yes, if they don't get a Vial, it's great. I have watched his Allies deck loses if I drop an Eidolon, he doesn't have a Vial. However, if he has a Vial and I play an Eidolon, I lose because he'll take no damage, play around it for the rest of the game, and I'll take lots of damage just trying to kill him.
It's surprisingly easy to play around an Eidolon if you have a Vial out. You just play slowly, make them hurt themselves, and then you just swing them with your creatures. And if you have an Eyelid Wall and they can't throw the Eidolon in front of you, then they just slowly die to it. Yeah. And it's kind of nice.
We just get wrecked. And then the other card that comes out is Goblin Guide, because his creatures are, in general, going to be a little bit more powerful than ours, and we know that Swiftspear's got that extra toughness generally when we're swinging in, because we're almost always going to be triggering prowess, and if we're not, we're doing something wrong. So Guide will come out because it just kind of dies in the block.
Yeah, a lot of times people seem to prioritize Swiftspear, thinking it's better than Guide. It is not.
That's wrong.
It is.
That's terribly wrong.
Swiftspear is so much better than Goblin Guide.
So much better.
I can take a Goblin Guide all day and throw a Silvergill Adept in front of it and know it's going to die. Swiftspear, he plays a Bolt, and all of a sudden I just got 2-for-1, and it's just no fun.
Yeah.
So when I take out this matchup, even though it actually did really good last games, I take out all the Spreading Seas.
Just a little too slow.
Yeah, against Burn, especially on the draw against Burn, like, that's not going to do much. If you don't have 2 or 3 of them in your hand, then you're going to end up killing one of their lands. They're just going to be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Dismember, because it's really not worth it. You're probably like taking 4 damage to kill one of their creatures. That's probably only end up dealing you 4 damage in the end. Is the thing.
As a Burn player, I watch somebody play Dismember, like, thanks. Doing the job for me.
The argument for Dismember is against the Grim Lavamancers, which are brutal on our creatures if we can't kill them. But it still hurts too much to really play. So instead of running that, we'll just try to keep our board sparse until turn 4, drop 2 Lords at once, and then be done with it. I can't get around that.
Onward to game 2, where I will probably lose and be sad again. And I mean, game 1 we saw the Spreading Seas there was pretty brutal, but the only reason that was brutal is because he had 2 of them. If he'd only had 1, we had the land to recover from that. And in the end, it probably would have hurt him more than it would have helped him. However, 2 is just...
And then, like, there are times where you want to go Mana Denial in Merfolk, and I am going to be testing the Seize Claim version of Merfolk soon, with, like, maybe even 2 Ghost Quarters in the main board, maybe some Tectonic Edge, and just lock every one of these greedy 3-color decks out and say, hello, my mana base is cheaper than yours, and you lose.
I will take the play.
Yeah.
I bet you're surprised. Oof. I will keep this.
I do not think I will keep this. This hand is just a little bit not doing what we want. It's got 4 lands in it, which is generally fine, but it's got to dispel the Harbinger and the Lord of Atlantis. It's close, and if we draw into gas, it's good, but, like, top of our library, we maybe could have kept it.
Maybe.
It's and the Harbinger becomes really useless if he doesn't have creatures in hand, and since we know he's probably going to side out creatures, it becomes less good. So we're gonna ship that and go to 6. What we're really hoping for against Burn is we really want to get Silvergill Adept is really good, and multiple Lords. Those are things we're going to look for.
Yeah, multiple Lords will shut down a Burn deck really quickly.
Also, Aether Vial is great on the draw. You really want to have that extra boost. It helps you be able to hold up counter spells while you play creatures, which is really one of the biggest strengths of Merfolk.
Yeah, no, that's another reason why Fish just shuts down Burn, because Fish can go, I'll tap my Aether Vial, put in a Curse Catcher, and at the same time I'll hold up mana for an Negate or Dispel. And so no matter what I do, I get screwed. And that's why burn players are mistaken whenever a burn player says, fish is a good matchup. You're wrong. And it's very similar to these allies decks that run Aether Vial. Very similar idea.
Yeah. So yeah, this hand is much better. It's got a lot of creatures. It's not land, enough land to play with creatures. Good utility. It's a solid hand.
Yeah. And then this guy here. This is a little bit of a gutsy keep, but wow, this is burn, so I think we'll make it work. So there we are. This should be doable. All right, here we go.
Oh, and then my scry. Yeah, and that I'm gonna keep on top because I think our hand is fine with it. Okay.
All right. So we got our Arid Mesa. Questions here is what colors do we want? And I think in this matchup we're gonna go ahead and fetch up Sacred Foundry. Take 3. Sacred Foundry. Where art thou? All right. There's one of those. Also spend a Rift Bolt. You can go ahead.
Yeah. And the same logic as before, we're just going to go ahead and lead with Island, because Island, why not? Best turn. Best turn Magic. Turn 1 Island.
I believe you mean turn 1 Island, Soul Ring, top. So that's what you want.
Black Lotus, Channel Fireball.
Also, that's out there. Upkeep, that's just going to go to face.
Yep.
And draw for turn.
And Rift Bolt is one of those cards you really want to learn to play around. You got to play conservatively. Like, if he has a suspended Rift Bolt, don't just run a creature into it. Like, this turn, obviously, I couldn't have done much. But, like, usually it's better to let your face soak up the damage than just let your creature die.
There's another one. On you.
And yeah, now you can see how we're just gonna pass it back to him because there's no point in paying a creature if it's gonna die anyway.
Base. Draw for turn. Gobble gobble?
Yep.
Whack.
Silvergill Adept. And we'll take 2.
On you.
Okay. So now we can start playing creatures. We're gonna Harbinger and bounce that Goblin guy back to his hand.
Going.
Play a Mutable pass turn.
Rude. Draw for turn. That's what we wanted to see. Alright, now we have the second land. We're cooking with gas. We're going to crack. We're going to go ahead, go down to 14, and get that Blood Crypt and get our colors going here. So now we can start really rolling in that damage. And that is one of the risks of keeping with a burn deck. You know, you can keep a 1-land hand, or you should keep a 1-land hand, because you don't want to go down to 6. That's just not good, because honestly, you go down to 6, you're really hoping for a 1-land hand and 5 burn spells, or similar. So keeping a 1-land hand is okay.
As long as you have...
As long as you have 1 God's Burn spell. Yeah, no, don't keep that with a handful of Searing Blazes and Boros Charms. You'll lose. You'll be sad and have lost. Alright, so now we're just going to start whacking. So we're going to go 2 of those.
That's... ouch. Okay, 6.
And pass.
Yeah, so now I think we want to start establishing board presence. So we're going to go for a Silvergill Adept. We're going to reveal this Curse Catcher.
Ew, gross.
And then we're going to... This is our draw for the turn. We're off the Silvergill. And at this point, I think we wanted to play the Curse Catcher just for security. We don't want to get blown out. And at 6 life, Bolt kills us. So we're going to be a little cautious. Swing for 2.
Go to 12.
Good.
Bolt.
Yeah.
And lost spike.
And I'll counter that.
Yeah. On you. So we're sitting pretty as a burn player now. He's not got a great board yet. He's not going to be able to kill us next turn. He's at 3 life. 90% of the cards in our deck, well, maybe not 90, but at least 2/3 of the card in our deck kill him. That's a Mirror Reejerey. If you're a burn player, that dies. If you have a way to kill it, it dies.
Swing for 6.
Yeah, I'll go 6.
And now it's classic. Does he have the burn spell?
And I don't even need to draw.
Done. He does. Yep, that's good.
And that would have done it too.
Yeah. So we actually might have been a little too conservative with our creatures on that one. I think it could have been worth it, sitting out a Harbinger to soak up a burn spell. Although I think with his hand, he probably wouldn't have even hit it.
Wouldn't have cared. I had a path in hand for anything that got super scary. If I hadn't had the kill in hand that turn, that Mirror Reejerey would have had to have died, even at the cost of giving him another land. I will say Path is a little bit overrated in that respect, because giving somebody another land is a big deal. That's a master a turn early is what that is, and that's just no fun at all. So be smart about how you use Path. Don't just go, path it. No, make sure what you're pathing is value, and make sure you do it at the right time. So doing it during their upkeep is probably the best time to do it, because they're not going to get that land untapped until the next turn.
So yeah, on the draw, or on the play, we're definitely going to use them. I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So
I am Skur.
At this point, what we're going to want to side out. See, I'm really like back and forth on this thing. I think Phantasmal Image is probably one of the worst cards at this point, mostly because it dies to all his burn spells. Every other creature in our deck we can get out of burn spell range. We cannot get Phantasmal Image out.
Yeah.
I used to side out Merrow Reejerey because it's a big mana investment for something that can get killed easily, but it just seems to have a lot of just goodness about.
Yeah, well, Merrow Reejerey is one of those cards that if it sticks, it's just devastating.
You just empty your whole hand.
Yeah, it's just if it sticks, the hand gets on the table and your opponent has lost. Like I've played before and Merrow Reejerey sticks and I don't have the burn spell or the kill spell and I just kind of lose.
Although Phantasmal Image does help, and it works in non-removal heavy matchups with Merrow Reejerey, it's just amazing.
Oh, it's stupid.
Like you have 3 out, and you're playing a Curse Catcher and you're gaining 2 mana, and it's like, yes.
Actually dumb. Actually dumb.
Curse Catchers become Dark Rituals.
Quality.
Okay. Okay. So this is pretty much a perfect hand. Like, we have creatures, we have the lands to play them, we have the disruption. Like, this is just beautiful. I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, as a burn player, when you hear that, and you're looking at this hand, it's a nope. Grim Lavamancer. Alright, that's awesome. Bump of the night, cool. Oh, this land! Oh, this land! This is how you lose. The way I do it, if I see 4 lands or more, it's a snap. I will not keep a 4-land hand. In all my playtesting, and this is lots and lots of playtesting, just doing gold fishing, you cannot win until turn 5, give or take, with this deck with a 4-land hand. So you're better off mulling to 6, because I've won on turn 4 with a good mull to 6, but on a 4-land hand, you simply don't have the cards to get that damage in, and especially against fish, where you need to be able to hit that face, you need to be able to race, you need to be able to kill creatures. Keeping 4 lands, and I mean, a Lavamancer's good, but if he has any way at all to deal with it, you're screwed. You know, he plays a Chalice, what are you going to do? You got no way to fill up your graveyard other than using those fetch lands, and that's just dreadful. So, mull to 6, and hope for a better hand. And ideally here, what we want to see is 2 lands and lots of burn spells. That's basically what you want to see. Alright. Be good to me. Alright, let's try this again. That's just straight unfortunate. I don't think we can keep this, actually. This is another 4-land hand, and a 4-land hand with 2 things, you're better off mulling the 5, hoping for 2 and 3. That's really where you're at with that. A 4-land hand will not get you there, not in time. 5's going to hurt, and if we have to go below 5, we probably just lose. Probably just lose a 5 anyway, especially against fish, especially considering you just said he had the perfect hand. I smelled turn 2 Chalice and turn 1 Curse Catcher, and I feel like I lose. That's what's going to happen here. Alright, deck, be nice. We're friends. Bam. Alright, let's try this. Hopefully only one more time. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, let's see. Were the gods kind? Yes, they were. This is about as good a mull to 5 as you can hope for. I'm going to show you that. That's about right where you want to be on a mull to 5. Even though you don't want to be there. Scratch. That'll stay. That'll stay. And for those of you, that scribe is that. And that's definitely going to stay just because of what this matchup is. Cool. You have the play.
Okay, so we're going to go with the Boros Charm one. There's no reason to use Wine Hub just because of more information. Best one.
Drop a turn. Alright. Wooded Foothills. Crack that. Go ahead and grab up Sacred Foundry.
This is where you want Stifle and Water. Just like, boom!
That's where, as a burn player, or any player really, you just turn around and cry.
Like Stifle would be great.
Stuff is literally the worst thing ever.
Stifle.
Literally just pure sadness.
Stupid people and their decks full of fetch lands. Make them pay.
I did pay lots of money for all the fetch lands. I promise you. Lots of money. And we're going to go ahead and pretend like we're repeating last game and suspend a Rift Bolt past the turn.
So the one usually you are entirely okay with running into a Rift Bolt is Silvergill Adept. And we're going to reveal that. And then we're going to reveal a Master of the Bullfight into the Silvergill.
Sure.
So, yeah, if he wants to bolt the Silvergill, that's fine. That's less damage you have to take, and it's already replaced itself in our hand.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Good.
If you're a burn player, you don't kill the Silvergill. It's really not worth it. You really want to save any burn spells you have for either the face or Lords, so that's going to go face. Yes, that's going to get in for 2 damage, but killing it's just going to put you behind. And in this case, I think we're going to go with the let's brace, race, race method, because that's about where we are right now. Alright, so we got Bloodstained Mire. Yeah. Cards in hand?
6.
Last thing I wanted to hear. Okay, so we have a few options here, and I generally am not going to say do this, but I think I'm going to do it this turn. I'm going to go to 17. I'm going to grab up a Blood Crypt, shuffle that momentarily, and we're going to go ahead and play the bomb. We had some other options, yes. We could have gone for the conservative way and try not to lose 3 life. We could have done some other things like that. But I think in this case we're going to want as much card advantage as we can. And since we know that he doesn't have the removal spell or any way to really get rid of it, unless I swing with it, which I'm not going to because it'd be stupid, we're really looking good with the Bob here just because we're going to get that card advantage we need going forward. Down to 14?
Yeah, you fetched twice.
Oh, yeah, I did. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's how that works. Sadness abounds. Go ahead. And remember your Bob triggers.
So, what him playing the Bob tells us is that we are like pretty solid. Like, if he had burn spells, he probably would hit us in the face with them. This way, we just kind of want to leverage our card advantage as much as we can. So, let's... Actually, we're not going to play that yet. We want to go ahead and play the Silvergill Adept first. Reveal... Master Potion. I think that's what I revealed before. I can't actually remember. Normally, so what you're going to do is I'll put my cards I've revealed upside down in my hand. That way I know which cards the opponent's seen, which they haven't, which is really useful sometimes. So you want to play the Silvergill before playing your land. In place you draw a better land, like a Mutable or something. In this case we're still going to play the Cavern. And even if I had drawn Mutable, I wouldn't have played it there, because we're at the point where we want to be able to play 2 Lords a turn when we get to 4 lands. And then we're going to swing in for 2. And if he blocks, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to go to 12.
And we'll pass back.
If I block, that'd be stupid. Untap, upkeep, Bob trigger. Yeah, I'll take that. Lose no life, draw for turn.
There's an argument for playing Cavern first, and simply just have a counter magic up. Yeah, something. But I think he's desperate enough at this point where even if like we had it, he'd still run into it. So bluffing it's not really useful.
Alright, so in this case, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and suspend one of those, put a counter on it, and then we'll go ahead and pass the turn. And so, remembering this deck, you're always going to want to save your fetch here, just in case A, Searing Blaze, or B, you might need to get different colors, or anything like that. Save your fetch. Don't just immediately crack it.
So, because what we have here, we really want to close this game out before he can get to really leverage that Dark Confidant. So we're just going to Cavern of Souls, name Merfolk, and Master of Waves.
Ew! Gross. Nasty. Now, as a burn player right now, you're probably crapping yourself, because that's just no bueno for you. It doesn't work out well. Never does. Unless this next card here is some answer to it, we're in trouble.
Next 2 cards.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'll attack for 4.
We're going to take 4, go to 8.
And I'll pass it back.
So, we are very lucky in this case. to happen to have one of those cards in hand. We're going to path that.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's why there's a path in the sideboard, because those things are scar. We do have this Wooded Foothills, but if we look at our hand, it's okay for us to go ahead and crack this Wooded Foothills. So we're going to go ahead and crack that at the end of his turn, especially against fish. Never crack till the end of their turn. I've made that mistake before, where I cracked at the beginning of their turn and then got my thing wonderfully turned into an island and was very sad. Okay, so in this case we're going to fetch a... it doesn't really matter all that much. Sacred Foundry, let in tapped. No need to take any more life than we already have. We'll go down to 7. And at this point we're really just doing that for deck thinning. We really don't want to draw any more lands. 3 is plenty enough lands to work off of, even with the Bob. And the Bob also is another reason why this deck only runs 18 land. A lot of burn decks are running anywhere between 19 and 20. That one less land is because we have Bob and we're getting those extra cards, and at least some of those extra cards are going to be land. Alright. Untap. Upkeep. Nice part here, I get to stack my triggers. Bob trigger is going to go first. So reveal that. Ouch! The last thing I wanted to reveal off that, go to 4. Be sad about myself. Upkeep, this will go to face. Oh, really? 17?
14, yep.
Be sad inside.
2 with bolts.
Draw for turn. Wow, that's unfortunate. Cool, we have drawn none of the things we wanted to see. Literally none of them. Not even a few of them. Okay, cool. So we're going to play that. Be sad inside. Well, now we're in trouble because... Oh, Lord probably kills us. He has lots of cards in hand. We're just in a bad way here. We're in a 100% bad way. Alright, so I think we're going to start. Go ahead and suspend a Rift Bolt. Hope he doesn't have lots of things to drop on the table. That is suspended. That's my Bob reminder. And... wow, goodness gracious. Pass turn. There's no reason... Even though he was tapped out there, there's no reason to swing with that Bob, because if he plays a Heartbringer or anything like that, you're just...
And you're also going to want that to block.
Yeah.
Because I have lethal on board.
Yeah. Lethal on board, scurry things.
So what we're going to do here is... we can win this turn, so we're just going to try it and force him to have it. So we're going to go Lord, and swing for 8.
Well, we are going to be incredibly sad inside as we Boros Charm in the face for 4 and lose.
Yeah.
Did the Bob have the goods? No, it did not. That was just a case of fish outvaluing. Nothing you can do about that.
That mulligan hurts.
That mold of 5, that'll let it kill you. Especially against fish, a deck that can counter all your stuff and play around all your stuff, and it's just a terrible matchup for burn. Even if that had been a 7 card hand, it didn't. Yeah, not great. Not great at all.
Okay, well,
cool.
That's our match for this week. So
I've lost.
Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be coming out with some new videos soon.